The court battle for the AmaZulu throne is set to continue in the High Court sitting in Pretoria this morning. Prince Smakade Zulu argues that the process to nominate King MisuZulu kaZwelithini was flawed. He says the meeting that decided on King MisuZulu kingship was not properly constituted since the people who attended were not the bona fide Zulu royal family members. The prince claims that as the firstborn child of the late King Zwelithini, he is the rightful heir to the throne. King MisuZulu was formally acknowledged as a monarch by President Cyril Ramaphosa a year ago. This in a historic ceremony which was attended by thousands of South Africans. Well, Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala is following proceedings inside court for us, while Bongani Gema is following the events outside. Let's begin with you, Nqobile Madlala, and give us the sum total of what was said inside court yesterday and these comments, particularly what we've just said in that introduction, that Prince Smakade believes that the people who were at that meeting, which officially nominated the reigning king right now, were not bona fide Zulu royal family members. What does that mean exactly?
But Folly, basically they're saying that there are a number of people and a number of homes that are originally from the royal house, and they're saying that that was not followed because not everyone was invited. And of course that's going to be discussed at length. But Folly, I want to bring in the family itself to speak to us about this, and I bring in now Mahlobo to speak to us. And I mean, we understand that there's been a conversation that the people that were in the meeting specifically that decided upon the king were not actually all the Zulu heads that were supposed to be there. Please explain to us how this happened.
Okubalekile mhlawumbe umuntu ofuna ukuthinta ukuthi indlunkulu abantu abasuke bekhona endlunkulu umndeni omkhulu futhi umndeni wesizwe kusho ukuthi ngamanye amazwi kunama possibilities ukuthi kungaba khona induna kube khona abanye abantu abangaba khona mhlambe ke kulowo mhlangano. Kodwa mhlawumbe okubalekile umuntu ofuna ukucacisa ukuthi amakhanda ezindlu onke ayekhona, izindlu zonke zayimelelekile futhi ibona ababenelungelo lokukhuluma abakwazi ukuthatha izinqumo ngomhlangano wobeka ingonyama ngaleso sikhathi. Mhlambe ke ileyo ndawo bekufanele umuntu ayicacise ngoba sekudume sengathi kwakube umhlangano kwakufanele kube ngabantu ababengafanele ukuba semhlanganweni. Indlunkulu yayikhona, amakhanda ezindlu ayekhona, iwona futhi ayemela indlunkulu futhi iwona athatha izinqumo. Iwona athatha izinqumo ukuthi ingonyama ihlale esihlalweni.
Kunombuzo ke la othi ikahle kahle kunokubonakala engazuthi umaqala uyena uPrincess Smakade. Kwenzeka kanjani ukuthi inkosi bese kuba King MisuZulu kaZwelithini?
Into mhlambe ekufuna siyikhumbule ukuthi kunomehluko phakathi kwezibulo noma njengoba ukhuluma ngomnumzane kuyenza kube umuntu ozalwe eqala engaba izibulo, kodwa indlalifa usuke ukukhuluma ngalo osuke unina eganile. Kulesi sigaba ke sikhuluma ngondlunkulu la osuke eganile futhi okugana kwakhe undlunkulu noma indlovukazi yesizwe yalotsholwa isizwe iyona ezala inkosi. Isiko kwelimile aliguquki, alikaze laze lashintsha isiko lakwaZulu lilodwa nje lalimile kusukela emakhosini amadala. Lapha ke umntwana uSmakade okuhlukile ngaye ukuthi uza indlela azaleke ngayo futhi nalo leli siko okukhulunywa ngalo lokuthi wafaka esifini. Sibe nenhlanhla ke maqala lokhu ukukhuluma abantu abadala bebekhona bakucacisa ngokusobala ukuthi alikaze libe khona lelo siko futhi lalingenaso isidingo ngoba phela umntana enkosi indlovukazi yesizwe yaba nalo izibulo layo yamzala umntana enkosi iyona ngonyama ekhona kwaZulu. Okusho ukuthi ke lalingadingeki ukuthi leli siko lokufakwa umuntu esiswini ukuthi libe khona noma lalingenaso isizathu embusweni wakwaZulu.
Well, briefly, just explaining there, Xoli, that there's of course a difference between a person that was of course identified as the king because of where they were born, especially when you touch on the fact that Queen Mantombi was the one that gave birth to King MisuZulu kaZwelithini. I want to bring back to you, Xoli, but I just want to briefly take something from Newzroom Afrika, who's the spokesperson for the family. Perhaps just briefly explain to us if the family is ready to take the stand today.
I want to assure you that the Zulu monarch and the Zulu monarchy, the entire kingdom, we are more than ready to actually put this whole issue to rest. Tomorrow we want the king to be announced victorious as the victor, as Victor Zulu and as the victor king of this kingdom. I want to draw attention to the argument made by the attorneys yesterday of the rebel side, because we must also differentiate the rebels and the royal family. If you are fighting a reigning monarch, you are a rebel, regardless of your bloodline. They are claiming that Prince Makate was then transferred. They are claiming that Prince Makate was then transferred to Wakangala Palace to be an additional member through the customary process, which they've also been trying to so much to explain it. And if that's the case, then the Zulu custom make it clear that if such a son ever comes, because we are talking about orphanage policies of the Zulu kingdom, he then becomes a last born of that. So what means that if ever, he will need to wait for all the kids of Kwakangela to pass away before he can actually start exercising any right that he will have as an adopted child. Even in the wild culture, you do know that you cannot just have another child imposed. Before that, Prince Makate was staying at Kwaketom Tandai. So he roamed from palace to palace under protection, under shelter from various queens. So I'm sure the queen, where she is, must be turning in her grave to know that there is even such a trial. We're slaughtering cows every day to apologize on his behalf, just to cover up this whole thing, so that the ancestors are not mad. Yeah. But anyway, we are more than ready, and we've been ready, and they are the ones who took us to court, you know, and we're also disappointed about the fact that yesterday they downplayed the Prime Minister's role. Thank you.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. Well, Xoli, as you can hear, that they're saying they're ready and they are going to be taking the stand.
All right. That's our reporter there, Ngobile Madlala, explaining matters inside court. And then, of course, there are events playing themselves out outside of court, and Bongani Gema is our reporter watching the space there. Bongani, good morning to you. So yesterday, Amabuto making their presence felt. Is that going to be much the same today?
Well, Xoli, we are expecting them to come again in their numbers. There's been speculation that the numbers we saw yesterday is not the real, show of their force. They were saying that today they are going to be even more than they were yesterday, Xoli. As much as it was tense yesterday inside the court, it was a spectacle outside, Xoli. We are now outside at Church Square, Xoli, where they are expected to start gathering soon, Xoli. They have not yet arrived. As you can see, it is still very much empty. But I've been trying to contact one of their indunas to find out at what time really are they expected to start gathering, Xoli, because they were saying to us yesterday they've been provided with shelter here in Tshwane, which is going to be housing them up to tomorrow when this court case is expected to be concluded. So they were saying they'll be coming to the High Court today and tomorrow until this matter has been laid to rest, Xoli. So for now, they've still not arrived here at Church Square, Xoli, but we'll be here to bring you the latest as soon as they arrive, because as you know, this is where they gather. After gathering, they'll then move towards the High Court. Well, then they start doing ukviliela, which is what they do throughout the court case, chanting hymns, praising King MisuZulu, because, Xoli, as I mentioned yesterday, we identified Amabuto who were in support of King MisuZulu. None of those that we were able to identify or speak to yesterday paid any allegiance to Prince Makate. So I think for now it is safe to say that the majority of Amabuto here at the High Court will be those supporting King MisuZulu, if really we are relying on what we saw yesterday.
Bongani Gema watching the space outside of the court in Pretoria there that is presiding over this particular case. Okay.